In today's episode of the Pathway Presents podcast, I have an interesting guest here with me today. I'm with Vaishnavi, Ravi, and she's hailing over from the team at Poka, the leading connected worker platform for driving manufacturing excellence. So we're all about manufacturing today, and we're figuring out sort of what Poka, the role that Poka plays, but also how Vaishnavi is thinking about growth for the company. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So maybe give us, a 360 overview. What is Poka all around and all about in your own words?
Sure. So Poka is a software platform, and it's really designed for manufacturers to drive their performance in helping their workers learn, solve problems, and share knowledge in the real time on their factory floors.
Mhm.
And a little bit of history on Poka itself. It was inspired by the challenges that our CEO, Alex Leclerc, had when he was the CI director at a food and beverage company. He saw firsthand how inconsistent it was to have siloed performance in different factory floors in the company's operations that was leading to quality waste, that was leading to downtime, safety risks, etc. And so he and his co-founder who he solicited, Antoine Besson, together they co-founded this company and really building a modern foundation for a age-old problem in the manufacturing floor.
Yep.
So yeah, happy to talk more about it, but yeah.
Of course, no, that makes a lot of sense. Now, when you're mentioning manufacturing, what should we envision? Are we talking, is there certain sizes of manufacturing scenarios where Poker comes into play? Is it, does there have to be a certain amount of assembly lines? Is there a certain amount of employees? Like, what is a great fit for a solution like Poker?
That's a good question. So in terms of Poka's clientage, in the past, we can see we have big clients like Bosch and Tetra Pak and Nestle in our a suite of clients. So if you're looking at enterprise level solutions, Poka is definitely playing really well in that. But we also play with mid-level and slightly on the SMB side organizations as well, where they are packaging either food and beverages, automotive, construction materials, and industry. We have kind of a wide range or gamut. We do have a lot of companies that have a factory floor that's slightly or a bit more autonomous, because mainly you're looking for a digital solution where the workers can move away from the assembly line, can move away from the production line to be able to access their solutions and to be able to gain knowledge that way. And so I would say the main idea is to help companies that have a lot of their processes in paper, for example. A lot of them have work instructions and standard operating procedures that are stacked away in a file room outside of the factory floor that's difficult to access and get context to at the right time and the right place for frontline workers. So Poka really focuses on manufacturers, given our manufacturing background, focuses on manufacturers where they're looking to go through that industrial revolution, the industrial 4.0, and that digital transformation to be able to digitize all of that knowledge and also help with their processes and become more lean that way.
Mhm. That gives a very good overview. What would you say, within those manufacturing organizations, like who would be sort of a champion for Poker? Like who's the individual that raises their hand and says, we need something like that? Where does it come
Yeah.
bottom up? Does it come for the sort of from the management line, C-suite? Where does the signal come from?
Yeah, what we've seen a lot of success with is, a CI director, a continuous improvement director on in a plant level or at the corporate level. Both levels we see a lot of success with. And what we're seeing more and more is there's a chief digital officer or there are directors and VPs in the operations or manufacturing areas as well. So it's starting to look like they're champions in different areas of the manufacturing organization that can really gain value and benefit from their angle when looking at Poka. We also see, of course, human resource and learning and development departments gaining a lot out of it because we have a skills and learning knowledge management platform that we can help them with. And so what we're really looking at, whether it's at the plant, at the bottom up or the top down level, whether it's coming from a corporate angle, we're able to help them ensure that they're streamlining their digital needs at that point.
Very cool. Now, how would you describe their journey of getting to know Poker? Like, in other words, what are sort of the client acquisition channels that you
Yeah.
guys would leverage?
Yeah, we've been working and engaging with analysts in market as well as working with a lot of organizations or industries where through conferences. And manufacturing is a compared to other industries, I would say it's a little bit of an age-old industry as well. There's a bit of a community aspect to it, and so engaging in these areas where the community is really present is something that we do really well. But outside of that, from an inbound perspective, we see a lot of clients that find out about us through our website or through our social media. LinkedIn is a big piece of it there, where we have organic as well as paid content on there if they're looking for it. And the idea is anyone looking for a solution that is worker focused in the connected worker environment is where we're at, because the space is so innovative that we're not just a player in it, we are kind of one of the leaders in that space. And so finding us is synonymous to making sure that you have a connected worker solution in your factory.
Now, what do you think, because you mentioned a couple of channels there, like how do you think about the website? Like what role does the website play? How do you think it fits in their journey of getting to know and getting started with Poka?
Yeah, website is something we have been thinking about a lot recently as well. And I read somewhere that it's your best salesman, so you better equip it that way. And so for us at Poka, especially, we're talking the language of the customer, and I think this is kind of an industry best practice as well to ensure that the way our customers are searching for us is the way we want to make sure that we call those out in the website so that there's a connection made. With a new industry like connected worker, a lot of the terms that we're using might be something that us and the analysts are sitting on the side and creating a lot of times, right? And so you want to make sure that you have a ear on the ground and you're listening to where your customers are at in their digital transformation journey and where you can actually help them best, regardless of how advanced your solutions can be. And so our website is tiered in a way where you can navigate it based on where you're coming from in terms of your industry context or your solutions that you're looking for and the challenges that you have. And so an outcome-based approach is really where we're heading to, because at the end of the day, it's really about moving that needle for them and ensuring they get the KPIs that they need to.
Very good. Now, what I would love to ask marketers is because they always sort of, the website is always a moving sort of, piece of work or piece of art in a way.
Yeah.
What would you consider sort of a strength of Poker's page versus where do you see room for even further improvement?
So for our website in specific, do you mean? Yeah. Our strength is definitely having a comprehensive solution. So, like I said, we do cater to aspects of having a really good learning management solution and a knowledge solution for customers. But we also help with daily management or daily process solutions that encourage a culture of lean thinking and encourage a culture of continuous improvement in the factory. So what we do well, I would say, is cater to all of that, regardless of what you're looking for and where you're coming from as a persona in the industry. You find what your solution needs to be. The areas of improvement, I would say, is having a rich, I would say, a rich story for every kind of metric or KPI that you care about. And I guess it's an ideal solution to say like everything that everyone captures is available in a single place. But what we really want to do is capture that story in a way that you can relate to. And so capture all that goodness from our customers, because our customers are driving with Poka and they're really a passionate bunch, actually. And they love to talk about how they have benefited and they've gained value from it. So capturing all of that goodness and making it available in a way that's valuable is something I would say there's an opportunity for us to do.
Very good. Now, what I'm curious about is, right, we talked a lot about Poker, we talked a lot about the channels and growth. I'm curious to learn
Yeah.
about your journey a little bit as a marketer.
Yeah.
So, there's so much content out there to educate yourself on growth and business and, the different strategies in marketing. Where do you personally like to educate yourself? Like, what's maybe a go-to resource for yourself to keep learning?
Yeah, for sure. For me, the biggest thing is I don't look at one single resource consistently, but I have like a varied areas of resources. And so one of the things is definitely there are a few influencers or or very experienced leaders in the product marketing industry that I follow and learn more about, even just through LinkedIn. You can do a quick search. And that's important for an area like product marketing because it's not the oldest, department out there. And there can be different ways and responsibilities depending on the company that you're with and the role that you need to fill in that organization. So it's a little ambiguous all the time. So it's not completely set in stone. So always looking out and ensuring that you're capturing what's important and valuable and taking that back to the company, I think is the most important piece. So I do that definitely. Come with that comes a few resources that these industry leaders have produced. Like there's one by April Dunford. There's a book called
Obviously Awesome.
Obviously awesome, exactly. And so just positioning and messaging, that's something in our blood, and I love to read that from time to time. Also, I read The First 90 Days when I joined this company as well. I read that every time there's a change that in my career or there's a change that's happening. So books are definitely a great way to go about it as well.
Mm-hmm. As we sort of been flying through the questions of the podcast, I would basically have one question to sort of wrap it up that maybe sort of wraps a little bit a nice wrapper around your journey as a marketer. Sort of if you would go back, right? So you're heading out of formal education into the world of marketing, product marketing in particular for you. What's the one advice you would give yourself as a new starting product marketer?
Oh yeah. I wish I had a lot of experienced product marketers all around me. So it's definitely one thing that I would ask anyone to take advantage of now that it's been a few years of this department existing. So reach out to people and reach out and network and don't be afraid to ask the questions and learn more about it. I myself am happy to talk to anybody. But for me, I think the biggest thing is what I love about product marketing is the fact that it's really cross-functional internally, but you're also getting to talk to your customers. You have a platform to have them hear about the product in your voice and get their feedback and be able to influence the product teams as well. In an ideal situation, all of this will be happening in a very streamlined and structured way, but don't fret if it doesn't at the very beginning. It can seem like something where you're usually a one-man army like I am in my company. And so dealing with it one step at a time is something I would definitely advise and take it at one bit at a time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Vaishnavi, I really appreciate that you took the time with us to be a guest on the Pathway Presents show. I want to give you the very last word. If somebody would be forgetting all that we discussed about Poka today, what's the one thing they should remember?
One thing they should remember. Yeah, wow, what a punch of a question. I like it. As I would say, for Poka, just remember that a connected worker solution that's frontline worker first, and it comes from a manufacturing background. So helping you solve your top challenges in that area is something that we are very passionate about.
Thanks a lot for joining the Pathway Presents show today.
Thank you so much for having me.